Welcome to the third part of Wordpress Gutenberg York tutorial series, Reusable Blocks and YorkU Theme. What we will learn today, we'll go over the reusable blocks and patterns. We will look at the YorkU theme and the digital hub, 35 plus blocks that for you to be able to reuse. And then we will create an example page using the YorkU blocks. Let's begin. Alright, so I have created a blank page for us to get started with reusable blocks and block patterns. In order to access reusable blocks and patterns, you basically just go to your add blocks. Wait for it. Okay, there we go. So block patterns are, as the word goes, patterns that are commonly used variations of the blocks that will make life easier and quicker for you to create the pages. This was introduced, I believe, in 5.52 for the community. So it would have things, common elements where you want to have columns, images and columns, two images side by side, and so on. And the idea is that these will be, one click, you add it, and you can edit the text on the right. So, for example, if I click here, boom, I got the two columns, I got the text, I got the title. Now all I have to do is click through it and change it. I'm going to go ahead and remove this because as YorkU patrons, you will not need this because York has provided you with these patterns because these patterns came after and the blocks came, YorkU blocks came out before that, and they have been packaged as reusable blocks. So you would do essentially the same thing as I was saying in the patterns, is you would just click the one that you want and it will come onto the page and you can edit it. But before I used any of these, I thought let's go ahead to understand what is a reusable block. As the name says, it's supposed to be, you should be able to reuse it, and that's what it will do. I'm gonna go ahead, first of all, give it a title. We're gonna call it WordPress YorkU reusable block example. Let's say I want to create something. I want to have two columns, right? Something side by side. I'm going to go ahead here and click on the column. Next, it's asking me, do I want 50-50, 30-70, 70-30, and so on. I'm going to go ahead with the 50-50. I can always readjust that here later if I choose otherwise. I'm going to go ahead and add, what do we want to add here? Let's have text on the left hand side. So let's add a heading. I was going to do something with learning commons. So let's say learning commons hub info, or let's say hub info. I want some text, so let's go ahead. I'm just going to go here to some Command C or Control C and Command V or Control C. And over here, I want an image. So here's an image. It works. There we go. I have a few in my library already. Let me find one that's a learning commons. Okay, I think there's that one. And then there's this one. That one might be too big. Let's go with this. Here we go. Now, what you see here does not mean that's how it'll look like on the real page. So let's do a preview. See, I don't like this. It's very stretched out. I'm gonna go here in the block settings. Sorry. I'm gonna make it 50%. Let's preview it now. That's much better. So now I like this and I want to give it to my colleagues who can use this info in other pages of their website or their web page or their department page. And this doesn't need to be a Learning Commons Hub info. It could be something, anything reusable, quick links, an image, some information that you want across your website, across your faculty pages, and you want to be reusable and you don't want to be editing in all the places when some information changes. You rather edit in one spot and it updates everywhere else. And that's what I'm going to show you. And in order to create a reusable block, I need to make sure that I create the column that I've created as the reusable, not the individual blocks that I have, which again defeats the purpose. In order to access the hierarchy of the blocks, there's a couple ways. I can click up top here, which tells me the hierarchy. We have the columns, and then the first column, the second column. In the first one, we have the heading and the paragraph and the image. The other way I sometimes do it is if I hover over the block type, it tells me what the parent is. So I can select the parent. But this has only selected the right side column. I want to select the parent of that. And now I have selected both the columns. I'm going to go ahead and click the kebab menu, or the 3-dot menu. And I'm going to say add to reusable block. It's going to ask me what do I want to save this reusable block. In my case, it's the Learning Commons Hub info. And let's give it a little bit of info here. Paragraph and image. So it's a 2-column. I'll put it in brackets. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and save. Now to show you how to use this. Now let's assume for a second I'm on a different page and I want to reuse this specific reusable block that I've created, which is a combination of multiple blocks. I'm going to go ahead here, click add, reusable. Now there's a lot that will be showing up here, and for you to find something that's quickly, it's sometimes easier to just search it. So I'm going to just say learning, there we go. Learning Commons Hub. It's going to give me a preview. I'm going to single click on it and it's right here. Now, if I want to make changes to it, I can go ahead and say, over here, I can say edit, Learning Commons Hub info, part 2. And before I save, or let's just do a preview just to show you what it looks like. They're identical right now because I have not made a change yet. I'm going to go back here and I've written part 2 here. Doesn't say anything here, but it will update. And I'm going to go ahead and save. Block updated. Now if I preview, there we go. Learning Commons Info Block 2, Part 2. I did not touch the bottom block. I only updated the reusable aspect of the first one, and it automatically updated the second one. Now there are instances where you may want to reuse the content but make a local copy, and you do not want the link that you have with the other one. So in those cases, I would simply select here, click the menu, the three dot, and just say convert to regular block. I could remove it from the reusable block, but you have to be careful. If you do, it'll remove it for anyone to use it again. So in this case, I'm just going to say convert to regular block. Now this block is a local copy. Its connection to the reusable block has been broken. So if I go ahead and I make this part 3 and preview it, says part 3 here, still says part 2. The connection has been broken. There are cases where you want to have both. Maybe there'll be instances where you will want to have the reusable aspect of it, and sometimes you may need to reuse a specific feature of a block and then incorporate it. And that is the case with the York blocks that we will go into next. There we go. I'm going to delete this one. Remove this block. Oh, no, I just removed one. Let me go to the parent. And if you wanted to move these blocks, they have just updated it in 5.53 that it has, instead of the arrows, it's now the 6-dot menu. So if I wanted to move it, I would do it in such a way. They are constantly evolving and changing the Gutenberg Editor for the better. So even though you may watch this video, something else might have changed by the time you watch it. So before I start on the YorkU blocks, I want to take you to go to resource for the YorkU theme, which is the YorkU Digital Experience Hub. And I want to give out a shout out to YorkU Digital Marketing for coming up with it. Roger Garcia, Anangateo Colad, Jason Miller. I also want to give out a shout out to from Idris UIT team, Alice, and the rest of the team for creating the theme, coming up with the website, working with them. They did a great job, and the site will be constantly evolving, and so will the theme. And if you have any questions, if you get stuck about the theme, or you have any marketing questions, you can go ahead and contact them. And you can also email askit@yorku.ca. You can reach out to me as well. I work for the YorkU libraries. I will be always willing to help anyone stuck, but those will be your go-to resources, or whichever faculty that you belong to, they would have a representative for that group. Just a quick look at the Digital Experience Hub. It will give you everything you need to enhance or get started. Resources you can have. I can go ahead and click here. You have your SEO guideline, how to best write paragraphs, how layering you want to do, what kind of keywords you want to put in, those kind of things. AOIDA guidelines for accessibility, writing checklists, technical resources. There's how-to videos. I'm not going to go through all of them. The module library is the one that I will touch upon. Here are all the modules that I cannot show you everything, but I can show you some. But this is the resource you want to go to whenever you are curious or you want to know how to use a specific module. So for example, if I wanted to use a paragraph with an image, how do I use it? They have done a great job by showing you what is the purpose of this module, the functionality, how do you use it, what's the specific guidelines, what size image you should use. They have a video that you can watch through. They have examples if you want an image on the left, image on the right, a video, and you can click through the other grid blocks if you like. So go ahead. I would highly recommend that you poke around, look at it. There's the coloring scheme, the toolbox, the look, the images that you need to have, why, you know, the FAQs of any questions that you have. Go there first, have a look at it. And now we will go ahead and I will show you some of those images. So let's go back here. And I'm going to rename this title because we're now doing theme example page. And what do I want to do? I did have one page opened up here, the study at YorkU. I like the concept, which is similar. This is your quick links and a little bit of title and paragraph that you might have for a specific page. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to copy this right now, so I don't need it later. So let's go ahead and add it. Reusable. I think it was quick links or on this page, but there we go. So there's 3 that showed up. What's the first one? I see quick links. That seems like it. Let's have a look. No, that's not it, but good to know about the icons and the title. With 4 columns. And so this is 3 columns and that one's 4. Now we're going to go ahead with the first one. I'm going to single click it. Now this is the situation where I was saying before, when you're using the YorkU blocks, you want to make a local copy and then edit and modify as it fits you. And then if you choose that it will be reused elsewhere, then create a reusable block. Don't just go ahead and create it. It's not recommended. I'm going to go ahead and create this as a regular block, so it's a local copy. And I'm going to go ahead and instead of paragraph, but I'm going to paste that I copied earlier from the other page of study. Command V. And it brought through the styling, this heading, and it picked up that it was a heading. It picked up this was a paragraph. We have our quick links. So let's see. Okay, this is the YorkU. In order to edit the text, I can just directly backspace and say YorkU home. And the second link. Well, I'm from the library, so let's make it a library link. YorkU libraries. And third, I'll leave the YorkU, but I'll just call it study at YorkU. Let's call this one research at YorkU. Now we have our quick links. What do we want to do next? So what's on that page? Okay, seems like 2 boxes, 2 columns with image and text. How do I do that? Let's go back to our reusable. Sometimes they take a while to load, but we'll come back. And I am going to, it was 2 column, 3 columns, 2 column, generic feature. That looks about right. Let's do that. Oh no, this is videos. We want images. I'm gonna go ahead and add that. Oh, what happened there? See, these things can happen. I think it just got added to the above it. I have a feeling it messed up something there. I think it's inside the previous one. Let's preview it. See, these things can happen, and that's why you're here. Yes, it did. It put the two boxes that I wanted within the first column of the previous. I do not want that. I want to move that out. So I'm going to drag and put it on the big bar. It should be out now. Let's just look at it here. No, it still has it. It still has it in the first column. I don't like that. I want it out. Let's convert this to a local block before I mess anything up on that. We do it now. Yes, it did it. So now if I preview it, they'll be much bigger because it's a 2-column and there's 100% of the space. There we go. So there we have the 2 large. Now, let's say I want to. What do I want? Let's take inspiration from that. Okay, so we have these two. They have a little heading this way, and they have 3-column. Maybe I'll use that. I'll show you how to do the heading part. Go ahead here. And because I made this into a local one, go ahead, add it changes, and then if you want, you can update it. I believe, if I remember, it was the gray. And just as a reference, just to show you as a great resource, go ahead to the module. There's a background, a gray background. There we go, gray column. This module is used to break up the page and content improve aesthetics. Okay. And there we go. All right. That's the one I'm looking for. Single click. It should insert. There we go. Now convert to regular block. I want to add a heading. This is a section heading. Oh, I lost my mouse cursor there for a second. And let's preview it. There we go. This is a section heading. And let's add something else. What shall we add? I don't want to do the 3-column. I kind of showed you the 2-column aspect. I actually believe this is a card, not the 2 columns that I showed you, but in either case, it still works. Anything else we can take from here? No, it seems like the same. Let me look at the ethics page. No, let's renovation. Oh, okay, let's do something like this. Like that. So it's a message. Go back here. Reusable. Don't worry if you don't see the patterns, it'll show up. And this one was there we go. Profile, red, white border, bottom left. Preview doesn't help us much. It's gonna be trial and error. I'm just gonna go ahead and pick this one and see what happens. I just want to preview it just so that I can see if I got the right one. It's not the exact same one, but it's one of those. So I will go ahead. I like that one. And if you notice how this kind of invaded my section heading, I want this out. So first, convert this to local and click and hold, and I want it there. So now my heading should be fine. Okay, let's see. See, it is separated, but I want to give some space. This is too close to the other one. Let's go back to the page that we had. I believe there's a spacer. Is it in space? No. Might be a regular block that we get. Space. Oh, there we go. There's our spacer. So this is just to add a little buffer or space that we want to add. I want the space in between, so I'm going to click and move up. Between here, 100 might be a bit too much. Maybe I can go, let's do 80. Let's see what that looks like. I think that works. That works. And I can keep on going, but the idea is for you to be able to create reusable blocks, be able to use York headings and the York modules, and be able to create your own reusable blocks if you like, but you don't need to. And there's one more I forgot to mention. Now let's say I did create another usable block in my one of the earlier session that I did not, it's not in this video, and I want to delete it. How do I delete? I've created this reusable thing that we don't want to use, and we don't want anyone else to use, even by accident, because we created it, we don't know what we were thinking, and now we've changed our mind. So if you scroll all the way down, I didn't click reusable block. So if I scroll all the way down, it's going to jump a little here because while it loads, you see here, manage all reusable block. So I'm going to single click this here. Actually, I should have opened a new tab, but it's okay. And here we see all that we have. So the one that I want to delete, that I did not want, is this one here. And I can either export it if I want to have a backup copy of it just for later, or I can throw it to trash right here, and it's gone. Now, let's say I want to delete this one. What other way I can delete it? Well, if I go back to my pages, I think I was doing, I can remember which page it was. That's the one. The last piece I want to talk about is creating groups. Now, groups are good if you want to, group a lot of multiple components or multiple blocks into one, and it's easier then to move them, place them in that sort of way. Now, for example, let me close this. If I were to click on one of the YorkU blocks that we added, go up, and if I go to the hierarchy, you can see that there's a group here, which is the link content, which they have grouped here. But let's say I want all of this to be grouped. One easy way to go to the parent, and right now it's not grouped with anything. I can say create a group. It's smart enough to know that I want it to be nested, so it has created a group outside of it, and I can now easily select the group, and now move the whole group around. I can apply styling for the whole group, so I can say, I want a background of blue, And now I have blue background or darker. It applies to the whole group. I can have more things in this group. I can add, I'll give it a shot. Let's see, hopefully it's not, doesn't mess up. I'm gonna go ahead and I won't create this as a separate group. I want this specific 2 columns to be part of the other group. I'm gonna go ahead and drag into there. I think I might have dragged it into the column. Let's look. Generating preview. Yeah, I dragged it in there, but it did create the block for it. Now you can see how it's all edge to edge. That means you need to have certain styling. You can have padding top. You can look at YorkU guide where it will tell you how you can add certain classes that are available for you to add that might give you extra padding. So for example, if I go to this group, I'm going to give it a try. And I'm going to say PT10. This is from memory. Let's see if it added padding 10 to the top. Ah, it didn't. So I was wrong. But it is classes that you can find on the, you can email IT, ask IT if you're looking for certain padding or certain styling, and they will let you do that. I'm still curious. I still want to. So I quickly looked it up. I think it's PT5 if I want to have padding, but let's say I want to have it for round preview. Ah, there we go. See? Now we have a padding of 5 all around. I do want these columns out. There we go. Should be back to normal now. There we go. So that is it for this video. Let's just go ahead and summarize what we learned today. Congratulations on completing the 3rd video in the tutorial series. In this video, we learned about reusable blocks, patterns, and YorkU Digital Hub. Created our first reusable block and how we saw that editing in one spot would automatically update all the other blocks. We modified it to become a regular block, so all of the changes stay local and does not affect any other blocks. We had a quick look at the YorkU Digital Hub and how it's a great resource for all your information. And finally, we created a page using some of those modules and how you would go about inserting them. I hope these videos have been helpful and get you up and running quickly and easily with the new editor and the YorkU theme. If you have any specific modules that you would like me to cover or create a video or tutorial about, do send me an email. Or if you have any other questions regarding this tutorial series, do let me know. The email you can find at the end of this video, or if you're watching this on the YouTube channel of York Libraries, do leave a comment and I'll try to get back to you. Until my next video, take care, stay safe, and cheers. Thank you for watching WordPress 5 Gutenberg York 2020 tutorial series. If you have any questions or comments about this video or the tutorial series as a whole, you can email them to me at sadikan@yorku.ca. Or if you have a branding or module related issues, you can contact YorkU Marketing at the contacts listed here. Or if you have any theme technical issues or you're a faculty member, you can email them directly to UIT at askit@yorku.ca. Take care and stay safe.